I've been pressing forward too quickly. By moving forward, I hope to avoid the enemies that are behind me, but I can't avoid the enemies that are behind me forever. There was a teleporter way back at the beginning that I didn't go through, and that teleporter may very well have the way to the way down. And if I don't go there, I'll never find the orb. But if I do go that way, I will find the Medusas that I left behind. I'm going to have to deal with them eventually. Those foes... Where did that Medusa go? Did that Medusa quickly step through a teleporter? I don't like these teleporters at all. They're just magic I don't fully understand. If there are Medusas on the other side of that teleporter and I step through it, will those Medusas try and kill me? Will they be able to hit me as I go through? Will I displace them in time and space, meaning that they won't be there and I'll be there instead? Will they be shunted into the teleporter? I don't know what will happen. And the fact that I don't know what will happen really concerns me. And there is a Medusa right there. I've been way too lax in getting ready for this encounter. I'm going to have to be very quick if I'm going to survive. Right, where is my spiritual hammer? That is what I need, the one item that I need to survive this. Alright, you and me, Medusa. Don't petrify me. You just went through the teleporter again. I do not like this place at all. Not at all. Welcome back, folks, to Let's Play Dungeon Hacker. Where last we left off, that sneaky Medusa is trying to kill us. And I imagine there are quite a lot of Medusas in this area, because that teleporter is constantly, making them appear and then disappear. I don't know if it's the same Medusa, or if it's a different Medusa, or if there are multiple Medusas in that area. What I do know is I need to cast these protective spells really quickly, and that I still don't think that, the free action spell will save me. Hello, you! How are you? Are you back trying to kill me? I think you are. And unfortunately the hammer missed, which is bad. We really want to go past you, and once again, you have vanished. So what we're going to do is we're going to quickly step through here and very quickly back up, and the Medusas aren't here anymore. They have now stepped through that teleporter and are now on the other side. Which in some regards is really good, because that means then that we can move away from them, and then they step back into here, and if we back up, they are right here. It's good that the game is set up in such a way that you can't be put in an unwinnable situation when enemies are on the other sides of teleporters. I don't want, however, to be turned to stone here, and there is a pillar there that I was trying to reverse into. That is a bad idea. Do not try and reverse into a pillar, because you can't. I think we've managed to take care of one of the enemies, so we're going to be very careful in taking care of the other ones. We want to go this way now and take care of that one foe that's in here. Where is that foe? That foe is there. And that is a chimera. I do not mind a chimera. Chimeras cannot turn me to stone. As far as I know, anyway. So we will just hit you there with our weapons, and you are dead. This is good. I'm going to save right now, because if there's one thing I don't like in games like this, it's instant death effects. Imagine, if you will, if you were playing in the Iron Man mode, where if you died, that was it, the game was over. Now imagine that you got to this floor, and you encountered a Medusa. And you didn't know the Medusa was there, and suddenly you're turned to stone, and game over! You lose, your save is wiped, and you have to start all over again. And here's a throwing hammer. It's a magical throwing hammer. I suppose we can hold on to it, or we can just put it here by a massive pile of other items. Seems like a decent idea. We don't want those items at all. We want to go back and take care of the enemies that we've... Hello! Here is another chimera. I just have the feeling that enemies are going to spawn in this area very quickly indeed. But I definitely want to take care of you. And one hit there, that is 20 damage, not bad. We really don't need to worry about taking damage from the Medusas, because ideally I don't want to ever take damage from the Medusas, because if I do, I'm probably going to die. Right, let's go into here and deal with you two. Once we've dealt with you two, hopefully we won't have to take care of any more Medusas for a while, or at least any Medusas on the other sides of teleporters. Alright, you're going to go into this corner, which is good. One of them went through a teleporter. That's not good. And you are dead, and you dropped a magical mace and a key. We want that key, because we've seen a place where we can use a key. And I accidentally clicked that instead of clicking the map. Because I do think that, yep, there is one Medusa there, and there is one enemy there. That enemy there is likely a Chimera. So we're very quickly going to step here and find no foes at all. That's encouraging. And there is one foe there. We're actually going to go into the area where we have places that we haven't yet explored, because we do have various keys. That said, we do have that key, and that door, I think, requires that key. So we're going to go into here, and I think this is going to be a Chimera. And this is when it's a Medusa, and we're in some... Yep, that's a Medusa. That is where that Medusa went. Hello, and there's a Chimera, just to make things that much more tricky. And we got hit for 11 points of damage. I think that was the fire breath in action there. We're going to move here, and there is that Medusa. Hopefully... Nope, the Medusa is not yet dead. That's not good. Where did the Medusa go? The Medusa went into the teleporter, didn't it? Yes, it did. We need to take care of you. We really need to take care of you, so we're going to back up, and it's the Chimera, not the Medusa here. Which means that the Medusa is now on the other side of the teleporter, and we don't have our spiritual hammer. That is... Oh, there it is! Never mind, it just took a little while to get there. Maybe it went through a teleporter and then came back. Either way, that Chimera is now dead. And is the Medusa on the other side of this teleporter? The answer, of course the Medusa is on the other side of the teleporter. Time to save once more. And step through that teleporter, hopefully not to our doom. Where is that Medusa? The Medusa is there. And fortunately there was not an attack there. I don't like the fact that sometimes the game slows down a little bit, which means that we have some difficulty in hitting these foes. And that was an attack, and there is another Medusa right here. These enemies are respawning really quickly. I cannot believe that that was a... Ooh, we have gone through a teleporter. That's a good thing, because there are two Medusas in there now. Two of them. They are respawning really fast, and I'm really worried about that. Okay, we can go here and hit you like that, and you are gone. There is one more Medusa in here, and you are there. We can throw this at you, and wait for you to come this way, very slowly. There we go. Are you now dead? Finally, you are gone, which means that we can save. Again. I think I've saved more in this small segment than I have at any point in the game, because Medusas, they are really, really frightening foes. Any game like this that adds an instant death effect in, it's just not a great thing to encounter. This wall seems funny somehow. We've just stepped through an invisible, an illusionary wall. Which is good, because there's nothing over here apart from a grand total of a corridor. Ah well, we could explore down this corridor as well. There's still a tiny bit more down this corridor that we can go and have a look at. And hopefully we won't get surrounded by Medusas. I hope so anyway. Alright, we'll quickly cast that, and we very quickly need to cast Cure Serious Wounds. And a Cure Light Wounds as well. There we go. We'll save Cure Critical for when we really, really need it. What is down here? If the answer is, aha! I was about to say a Medusa, I wouldn't have been surprised. And there is a fireball that we are very quickly going to outrun by just sidestepping. Goodbye, fireball! See you never! If only we could outrun fireballs like that in any other game. And are you going to fire another fireball? Fortunately, you do a very specific animation when you do. No, you're just going to let me attack. Oh, there's that fireball. Let's just very quickly move away. Aha! Deftly dodged. And we also deftly dodged the spiritual hammer. But it did eventually return to our hand. It just took a little while to get there. Alright. Where is that Chimera? I think the Chimera is dead. And those are the stairs down. So we've already found the way out of here. That's good. We've also already found the difficult opponent for this floor. That's also really good, and there are now 3 enemies in that room. That's really bad. That room just seems to be, hey, do you like enemies spawning? No, not really. Too bad. This room has enemies spawning all the time. Having true seeing ready and cast here is really good, because that means I'm not going to be surprised by any enemies. Also, because I feel like I need to detect pits. I don't see any pits, and I've been turned around, if you'll notice. So we need to go this way and see when we were turned around. The answer is we were turned around then. It's not like there was anything here down this corridor, but we were turned around, and it keeps turning us around, though going back it's a lot more obvious. So we haven't really found anything here. What unfortunately we need to do is we need to go into that teleporter, which requires us going and defeating these 3 enemies. That's not good. I don't like facing and defeating those 3 enemies, because I imagine those enemies are going to be a Chimera and 2 Medusas. And the problem with going into here is that what's going to happen is they're going to very quickly step into that teleporter. Like that. Which means that I'm going to have to quickly backtrack away from this area to get to that area. And I'm going to have to take care of those foes, otherwise they're going to very quickly kill me, or they're just going to be teleported immediately onto the other side. That's actually quite handy right now, because I don't want to go back there until I have cleared out the entire level. So they can stay there if they like, as long as they don't pop back into here and try and kill me. That should be good. That's wishful thinking. Let's go into a new teleporter that I've never been into before. And that is what can happen. We are dead. Celadran killed by petrification on 8, with 756,632 experience. That is what an instant death effect looks like in this game, and this is what dying looks like in the game. That was a very unfair death. We had free action prepared and cast, which means that free action does absolutely nothing against petrification. So we might as well stop casting it. What this means is that we're basically going to have to brute force getting through that small corridor. It's a good thing I saved, because I don't like instant death effects in games like this, especially when they're so unfairly placed. What we want to do is, I think we want to actually have the Flame Strike spell ready, because we're going to cast it pretty much immediately. And it did nothing. We're going to get hit by this enemy eventually, and I imagine we'll be turned to stone again. Or we might not get hit, which is what could have happened the first time we went in, and therefore we live. That is how arbitrary the instant death effects can be. And while I was trying my best to avoid dying in this playthrough, death does happen. And that is likely the first of many deaths. Celadran won't have noticed anything, as far as Celadran knows. That never happened, the death of being turned to stone slowly and in absolute horror. So instead, we're just going to carry on as if that never happened. And we're just going to keep fighting down this corridor. A narrow corridor with no real way to escape. I don't like this at all. For all I know, there could be some Medusas around the corner just waiting to petrify me. I highly hope I never get turned to stone. It sounds like a fate worse than death. And there is a statue. Perhaps that is an unfortunate giant or flesh golem that was turned to stone. Either way, we're going to explore very carefully down here before we go anywhere else. There appear to be quite a lot of winding and narrow corridors here. That door can be opened with a button, that door can be opened with a button, and that door can be opened with a button, which means that we're going to open this door first and hope that there aren't lots of enemies in here. And the answer is, there are at least, there's at least one enemy in here. One enemy, however, is fine. I can deal with one enemy, and I can sidestep one fireball. We definitely want to rest up and get all of our buff spells ready again once we have dealt with you. And what is this? It's a journal page. We haven't seen one of these for a while. Let's give it a read, shall we? I have seen several cockatrice within these halls, but they did not get close enough to turn me to stone. So there are cockatrices in this dungeon. That's not good. They have the same ability as the Medusa, and the Medusa can turn me to stone just as effectively as the cockatrice can. That said, I think the cockatrice is a less dangerous foe than the Medusa, although that is only hearsay and rumour. They're all just as deadly as each other if they can petrify you. I should be, well, as I always say, very cautious. I'm being far more cautious here than I've ever been in any adventure in my life, but this is unlike any adventure I've ever had in my life. Alright, I think I'm as ready as I'll ever be. I should press forward. And so we shall have resist fire, but there's really no point in preparing the free action spell, because it really doesn't work. And I think you can get multiple ones of smiting. If you're really lucky, you could have 2 of them. Not that I'd want 2 of them right now, because having 2 of them would mean that I'd have no ranged weapon. Aside from all of my spell casting, and this seems like a very comprehensive area. Let's go and open this door now, and I'm going to save, because there could be 2 Medusas there, wanting to give me the Stare of Doom. The answer is, no Medusas. No Stare of Doom. 1 Chimera, though, and I'm very quickly going to sidestep that. Goodbye, Fireball. Hello, Chimera. I'm just going to back up a little bit more and go into this room, because I know this room is pretty safe. Goodbye, Chimera. What was in here that was worth risking my life for? The answer is absolutely nothing apart from 1 Chimera. Fair enough. What about in here? There's a Chimera! Hello! I'm so happy to see chimeras. This game has most certainly taught me that there are far worse enemies than the enemies that you think are really dangerous. You're like, chimeras, they're terrifying. Oh wait, Medusas, they are far more terrifying. What is that item? The answer is, it's a flail. We could pick it up, I suppose. It's probably not that good, though. It's not as good as the, Wand of Smiting, so I think we'll just wait on taking that with us. And there is an obvious switch which will open this door, and there is an obvious Chimera. We shall defeat the obvious Chimera with our very obvious weaponry. And there is a gold coin. We don't want that, really. Let's just keep going this way, and hopefully we won't find a Medusa around the corner. We will, however, find some iron rations. And you know what? Let's hold on to those iron rations, shall we? What shall we drop instead? We'll drop the apple. We don't need an apple. We could just eat the apple, I suppose. How do we eat it? There we go. Much better. We've restored a tiny bit of hunger. And restoring hunger, always a good idea. Have I looked at this? This appears to be a war banner of some sort. I might have looked at it, but I've now looked at it. And this was a long and winding corridor that ultimately led nowhere, and there is a door up here that I can go and explore. Any Medusas here? There's a lock that I'm going to need to open. There we go. No Medusas. That is encouraging. Still no Medusas, and there's actually nothing up here at all, so using that key, entirely pointless. Might as well take the flail with us for a tiny while. Can't hurt after all. And there is this area up here left to explore. And I thought that was an enemy for a moment there, and I got momentarily worried. It's like, hey, there's an enemy there that I haven't seen before. No, that's just a statue. Could have been someone at some point, but is now just a lump of stone. Any foes up here? The answer is there is nothing up here. So there has to be this way, a way to move into the other location in the dungeon. And pressing this opens a door and reveals a Medusa, which is exactly what we don't want to reveal, and a teleporter, which is something that we do want to reveal. And that Medusa has vanished, and there is nothing here at all. So in here has to be the way forward. Any more foes in here? The answer is no, but that Medusa has blatantly stepped through that teleporter. We only have, we have that area as well that we haven't been in. we should probably go in that area very quickly. Seems like a good idea. Also seems like a good idea to save again, just in case. We'll just very quickly have a look down this corridor and see if there's anything of any importance. There's this, which looks like, that's a locking mechanism. Something seems to be missing here. This seems to be missing from here, and that I believe is that is a magical suit of armor. That is a magical suit of armor. This may be what I wanted to find after all this time. A magical suit of armor. Please let it be something really, really good. I hope it's something really, really good. It's not cursed. There are no other enemies in here. What is this? Ring mail. Our armor class is currently at 3. If we were to equip this, our armor class goes up to 4. Once again, we have been disappointed by a suit of armor that we found. It is not as good as the chainmail that we recently uncovered. That's a shame, but hey, our armor class is 3. That is a little better than our starting one. Still, we haven't found any plate mail. In time, we will find some plate mail. I hope so anyway. And when we come back, folks, we will go through this teleporter. And inevitably we will find some enemies on the other side of the teleporter, and we will have to take care of them. And I'm going to save, just in case while I'm doing this, just in case while I'm talking here, the game decides to have a Medusa step out of here and kill us. Because instant death effects. Aren't they terrible, especially in this game, especially in Iron Man mode. And so, when we come back, folks, going into this teleporter, probably exploring this final segment of this floor, and then going down these stairs and leaving, and hopefully never coming back here, because Medusas. So I'll catch you next time, folks, and I'll see you then. Later. Why, oh why, can I not find a suit of plate mail? Have no adventurers come down here wearing plate mail before? Were they all clerics and rangers and people that didn't use heavy armor? I really need some plate mail, sooner rather than later. I'll even take a rusty set as long as it works. I just need better protection. That said, I actually need some sort of reflective shield to deflect the gaze of the Medusa, or so that I don't need to see it. I need that more than plate mail right now, but later I will definitely need plate mail. If only I could find some. Later.